Hey, what's up, guys? It's 0 to 9, and welcome to the second part of my workflow workshop. Today, I will show you my workflow to create song ideas, and that's why this episode is called How to Create Hit Songs Only, because most of you guys think about all the professional artists that they are just producing hits, but the reality is a little bit different, and I will basically show you how all of this works. So that's the agenda for today. First, the first step is to create track ideas. So we have also already talked about creating track ideas in the last episode. So with track ideas, I don't mean a finished track. I mean just a basic idea, a simple loop, and then with a very simple arrangement. That's the first step, and we will talk about that in detail a little bit later. So just the agenda now. Second point is to rate your track. So just rate it, how good it actually is. Then periodically finish the best track idea. So we go over your ideas and choose the best one we have. And if you have done a track, just continue with step 1. All right, let's see. Create track ideas. As I already told you, with the track idea, I mean just a basic idea with a very simple arrangement, so you can get the rough feeling about how this track should evolve afterwards if you really finish it. So you start off with just creating a main 8-bar loop idea where your main melodies or bassline and all your drums are playing. And that's the very first step. So to kind of create an 8-bar loop with all the sounds you need for your track. And if you're really happy with that loop, you're just creating a rough 2 to 3 minute arrangement where we have like a first drop, a break or main break, and then the second drop, just to give you a rough idea how your track is flowing and how you can place your elements in the arrangement. Because sometimes if you have only one main element, you might notice that it will get kind of boring if you have only this one main element already in the first drop, and in the second drop and there's no change between the two drops, that you might need another element to do a more like creative and interesting arrangement. And that's why this step also helps a little bit to create the vision of this 8-bar loop, so that you know where it is going and how you can evolve the track from a stripped down loop to the full complete 8-bar loop with everything playing at once. Once you're done with that, you can save your project to your ideas folder and continue with the next step. And a quick mention here, please, no sound design and no mixing at this stage. This is very important, and we have talked about this thing in the last episode, because sound design and mixing is a technical task, and we don't want to mix it with a creative task. And here we have a very creative task. We're trying to make a new track idea. So please, no sound design and mixing. You can do a high pass or a low pass on an EQ. That's the absolute maximum. And you, even if you don't find the right sound, right lead sound, right hi-hat sound, it doesn't matter. Just use another sample or another preset as a kind of placeholder, so that you just have a basic idea about how this track will sound. And you can replace all of them later. It's absolutely no problem. So keep that in mind. You only want to create an idea, and you can replace the individual sounds later if you want to. All right, so once we're done, we have created the track idea. The next step is we have to rate our track idea. And basically I use a rating from 1 to 10, but you can use any other scale if you want to. My rating is 1 is very bad. 1 is so bad that it's kind of, I don't know, you wouldn't even listen yourself to it, but usually you don't make such bad ideas. And 10 is an absolute banger. And if you're unsure about the rating and sometimes you're making a little bit like kind of new style, you can always ask a good friend of you, or maybe your girlfriend, your boyfriend, maybe, I don't know, someone from your family, to have a rough feeling if it's a 5, like a 7 or a 10. For example, and then just take the rating and save it to a like text file or Excel sheet, whatever it is. Just save it somewhere so you know which track idea had which rating, and that's important because after a while you will have a lot of ideas. And to be honest, it also happens all the time for myself that I have like a lot of ideas, and I kind of have no idea what kind of tracks are in there, because some of my ideas are already like 7-8 months old. I have absolutely no idea what I did back then, so I need the rating to really know what was in there. Is it a good idea or not? That's basically the important thing, because in when I choose what to do, I need to choose the track with the best rating. So please don't forget it. Rate your track, save it somewhere so that you can check which is the best idea you currently have. And that leads us to the next point, which is periodically finish the best track idea. So let's say once a week or twice a month, you have enough time to say, okay, I have enough ideas ready. I want to finish a track now. Then, okay, let's go to our list of ideas and see what we have and see which is the idea with the highest rating, and choose this one. And sometimes, especially if you're starting to implement this workflow technique, you might have not enough ideas, or only ideas which are not good enough. And if that's the case, just keep making ideas until you have something which is, in your opinion, good enough to produce. And in my case, usually I would recommend to don't finish ideas with a rating of less than 7 to 8. Of course, this rating is very subjective, so some people would rate the tracks completely different, but on my scale, it's like a 7 or 8 is a kind of good track, where I say it's good, and everything else is below 7. It's just an like okay track, and I don't want to waste my time, so I don't want to produce tracks which are just okay. Of course, as I said, it's subjective. Even I had tracks where I said it's a 8 or 9, and some people say it's a 6 or 7 because it's just not their style or not their taste. So this is really a subjective thing, this rating. But in the end, you have to be like happy about the track, and it's impossible that everyone will like it anyway. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But also try to be critical with the rating. Because if you rate everything like 10, and then you will end up with producing shitty tracks because you say everything is great, right? Yeah. But if you have one idea which is, in your opinion, good, then you can continue with step 2 from our 5-step plan, which I've shown in the last episode, and then you can finish this idea. And once you have finished it, just remove the idea from your folder and your rating list, so that you know you have completed it, and it will not show up in your list anymore. All right, then once you're done with that, just keep making new ideas and store them to your library. And that's basically how it works. And this is what a lot of pros are doing. And as I said in the beginning, a lot of people, they just think, okay, I'm let's say artist X just has very good tracks, and you're thinking, oh man, this guy is only producing bangers. But the truth is, they will produce a lot of shit music too, and I produce a lot of shit music as well. But the point is, I'm not finishing and I'm not releasing these tracks. And the very important point is that you don't even finish them. Because if you already know from the beginning that the track has not enough potential and only will become a like 6 or at best a 7 on your rating scale from 1 to 10, then it's not worth spending your time on. And that's the important thing, because a lot of people, they will just make one idea and then they will finish it. No matter if it's good or bad, and then they have a finished track and then it's a shitty track. And for what reason? You can release it, but if it's a shitty track, it's a shitty track, right? And it will not be helpful for your career. So the point is, you have lost a lot of time because you spent like 20, 30, 40 hours for making this track, which is shit, for nothing. And that's why it's important to just create track ideas, because each idea is just 2, 3, maybe 4 hours of work. And then if you have made a shitty idea, it's absolutely no problem. You've just wasted 2 or 3 hours, right? So you can just delete them or just store the library, and you have to never touch it again. But the problem is, if you finish every track, and also the shitty tracks, you lose a lot of time, and we don't want that. So please just make ideas, store them to a folder, do the rating, and then afterwards only really finish the very, very best tracks. And I heard a lot of from like very popular artists. For example, one artist, he told me like for every great track he's releasing, he's producing 10 shitty tracks. So like he produces 10 tracks, one track is great, maybe one track or 2 tracks are good, and the rest is shit. And that's normal. That's really, for all the artists, that's normal. We're not producing hit songs every day, and that's okay. You have to live with that. Just keep that in mind, that if you're starting out with this workflow technique, that if you're just producing like average tracks in the beginning, that's no problem. I produce a lot of like bad or average tracks every week as well, but the difference is I will just not finish them, so it's no problem. I've not wasted a lot of time. I will just continue with making new ideas, and if I have great ideas, I will just finish these ones, and that's how I do it. And we can quickly check out how a kind of track idea sounds like. I will show you one of my track ideas which I haven't finished yet, so you get an idea of how a track idea just looks like in Ableton. And I will also show you quickly my kind of rating list. So let's quickly jump into it. I've just here a text file with tracks to do, and here I have all my tracks which I haven't finished yet. And for here in this example, you can see I have some tracks here which I might finish. For me personally, right now I'm trying to only finish stuff with a rating of at least 8. But I'm trying to do only stuff which is basically above 8, but all the stuff with a rating of 8, I'm trying to consider it or maybe improve it a little bit. But I'm just showing you right now a track here which I've rated with 8. So I think it's it's a good track. Please keep in mind, there's absolutely zero mixing, no mixing at all. There's no sound design. Everything you will hear are just like presets from my synth library, from my drum library. There's absolutely no volume balancing or whatever. I've just like made the melodies and everything, and then I just store it to my idea library, because as I said, I don't want to waste my time. I want to just make ideas and then rate them and store it to my library. Then I've just here created a very quick like arrangement, 2-3 minutes with a first drop and then a break in the second drop. Let's just give it a quick listen. I will use my headphones. All right, yeah, let's start just with the beginning of the track here. So we're going into the break here. You can also hear that a lot of elements are missing, like a kind of free space or something. Build up. Yeah, I think it's enough to like kind of get the idea what I'm trying to show you. And yeah, I think something like this is for me a kind of track idea. There's no mixing, no sound design. I'm just using my presets from my library, and it's enough to get a feeling for the track. And if I want to finish it, there's enough in here, the elements, the melodies, which I can use, and then I can replace the sounds, and I would replace all the drum sounds or the synth sounds and make something like more interesting. Or sometimes it's I can keep them and just process it a little bit differently. But just to give you an idea, that's like kind of a track idea, which I would finish later, for example. And for ideas like this, you can really do it very quickly. In most cases, I'm spending like between 2 or 3 hours for creating an idea like this, and then you can decide later if you really want to finish it. So yeah, I think that's basically all I can say about the topic. I will show you everything else in additional videos. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please subscribe, and see you in the next workflow episode. And yeah, have a nice day. Ciao, bye bye.